Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Robert, MCS, and today we've got a package deal for you. Instead of one guest, we have an interview with two guests today. And yes, we know we have already two Phantasma interviews. The first one was with Lee Kai. It was all about the basics and about the white paper of Phantasma. Later on, we had Alex regarding to the mainnet launch. And yeah, of course, today we've got Bill. But Bill didn't came along. He brought his friend with him, and yeah, the both of them are going to tell you all about the updates, the recent updates about Phantasma and 22 series, and of course, Pavilion.
It's been good times.
Hey, cool.
I guess that's another example of. Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, shouldn't this only be about Garth? I mean, I just sort of invited myself along. I'm just here for the ride. So.
we're all here to share. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't the interview originally with Garth and I invited myself? I'm pretty sure I just did the old JI.
That's the story of our life, man. I've got a party to go to, and Billy's like, "I'm coming."
Yeah, I just crashed things.
Yeah, for the people watching now, we have Garth on the show. Garth, give us a short introduction of the people who don't know you yet. I don't know if they exist, but for the people who don't know you yet, give us a small introduction.
Oh man, that's a really tough call. So I guess very briefly as I can be, I've been working with games, software development for 22 years now. I worked on big IPs like sort of Star Wars and Transformers and I don't know, LA Noir, Dust Side. So you can check me out online and see all the stuff I've worked on. But I've done a lot of stuff in the last 22 years. But what really got me excited, as of actually 20 years ago when Counter-Strike came out, that was like a massive eye-opener to me about this esports thing that I kind of thought would be the future. So we've been developing 22RacingSeries as a very esports focus with, and we'll get into this, with online digital exchange sort of ability. So that's kind of me and my dream project in a nutshell.
All right, and the great mastermind.
I used to host a Counter-Strike server on a university when I was there.
Man.
Don't tell them that.
Yeah.
That thing was running for at RMIT. That thing was running for about 6 months. It was pretty popular.
Yeah. I mean, I tell you what, like when Counter-Strike
and low pings too. It was on fiber.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
I was the guy that saw everyone before they saw me. So like I was just pointing people.
Yeah.
Owning it.
I was asking myself, how did you guys met each other? How did you guys find each other on first hand? It's
a long story. Okay, I'll go with that one. So my partner, who's known Garth, it gets me out of a lot of trouble actually, because when I'm working till 6 a.m, she sort of yells at me. She's like, "Stop playing crypto with your internet friends," and I'm like, "Well, I'm helping Garth." She's like, "Oh, say hi to Garth." So I think she's known Garth since she was like 8, and so she's my partner now. We've got a son together. And funnily enough, Garth and his wife are the godparents. And the way I met Garth, okay, so maybe 2004, Belinda was having a party. She was a friend of a friend, and I wasn't invited. I just turned up. And
pure Billy style, right there.
Yeah. And if memory serves, Garth didn't like me too much when he first met me. But anyway.
Yeah, we were drunk,
Yeah, well,
we worked it out.
I was a young Greek dickhead as well. So look, I think I would piss me off if I met myself now.
And then to the future story, I guess, like it was kind of interesting. So the way kind of Billy and I got talking about what we needed for, what we needed for 22 and sort of some of the problems I was facing, kind of started this Phantasma thing as well. So as I said to you, we can kind of go into this a little bit more later on as well. But as I said to you just before, Rob, we kind of knew from when we started, like I'd thought of this design for 22 20 years ago, the sort of overall business model and economics and stuff. But it was like 12 years ago we started putting pen to paper to design it. And back then we recognized that we needed some kind of digital, currency solution that would solve our needs for transacting sort of vehicles and doing tournaments and people to enter with prize money and to pay that out. And we knew we couldn't do it with the fiat. sort of current system, back then. So we always wanted a solution. So yeah, when blockchain came out, we were sort of right on the first Bitcoin miner to check it out and see what was happening, and kept our eyes on it. And then I kind of
didn't
kept
keep your
that on
private
the
keys, though,
sidelines.
did you?
That's a whole other story. It's a very
How many coins did you? All right.
I installed the first Bitcoin miner. I let it run for a while, and it was very curious and interesting. This is back before it was even you could trade it for any money, right? I probably could have collected thousands of Bitcoins. But anyway, I was using my computer to make 22, and 3D software is very intensive on the CPU, GPU. So I proceeded to shut Bitcoin miner down and get back to work. Biggest mistake ever made. Anyway, let's forget about that. But so sort of flashback to about 3-4 years ago now, I started going to all the blockchain meetups around Melbourne, trying to find the right blockchain partner, right? So the right sort of blockchain tech solution and the right partners to help us out with this. And I met a lot of people when overseas, met people in San Francisco, had a lot of Zoom calls with different people around the world. I just couldn't find the right solution. And I was around visiting Billy and Belinda one night, and I was telling Billy about this. Because Billy, I think Billy, you just gotten into sort of cryptocurrency around the sort of same point or something. You can correct me on that one.
Yeah, it sort of tied in. Oh, sorry, my bad. It sort of came at the same time. I just sort of decided to join and help out with Phantasma, and
well, no, as I recall, Billy, I said to you, like, we need this kind of solution. We want to do this kind of smart contract thing and blah blah blah. And I remember you saying to me, like, okay, I'll live with me. I'm going to go search Telegram.
Oh yeah, this is even before then. That's right.
Yeah.
Actually went out. Yeah. I was working for Oracle at the time, and I was on a whole bunch of different channels, and I just went hunting for a blockchain that Garth had told me all of his problems, all the issues, and a lot of people just wanted to stick his poster on the press release and weren't really interested in actually integrating or building or adapting the chain to do what they wanted to do. I mean, they had like a million ideas about how they wanted to do things, how they wanted to mint tokens, how they wanted to run their economy, et cetera, and you throw that out there. Most blockchains you talk to, you might get a response in, I don't know, you might send an email and then someone contacts you and you might get a response back in 3 weeks or a month, and you're not even sure if they're the real person from the blockchain. Anyway, it was just nuts. So I just went around. I just did the rounds for ages, and then sort of stumbled through being involved with Neo, stumbled upon Sergio and Phantasma, and and it was just a perfect fit. I mean, literally, he was a guy that, the DAP of the year, which happened to be a game because he likes gaming. It relied completely on NFTs and the economy being on the chain and interacting with a game that was, a little bit more than, rock, paper, scissors. Won all these awards, and then he sort of started hitting roadblocks himself and decided, well, you know what, I'm going to build my own chain. And I was just talking to this guy like nonstop. You ping him a message, he pings you back. I said, like, I'm not getting this from anyone. So I went back to Garth and I said, well, we really should be starting to talk to these guys. And since then, I've become part of the team myself, and Garth and his studio came on board, and we've just taken it from there. It's been a real organic, natural progression, which you can do when you have that flexibility and communication lines open. So
to bring it back to how Billy and I met. So how we met, but I think this kind of he discovered Phantasma. I told him my problem. He found Phantasma. I went around and still spoke to some other blockchains. So I was speaking to Phantasma and other people at the same time. And it just gave me the great opportunity to kind of ask the same question to a few different groups and get different answers. And I was getting told by other chains, like, what you're saying is a really cool idea. That's awesome, but you can't do it. It's not possible. And speaking with Phantasma, they're like, yeah, that's exactly what we want to build. Like, we maybe don't have that yet, but we're building that. So, like, okay, well, we can build it together, right? So, and so that kind of solidified Billy and my friendship in a lot of ways. I mean, we were friends before that, but now we talk, like, I don't know.
Too much.
Like, constantly, all day.
Far too much. Yeah,
we
stop.
talk to each other more than our partners, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, we get the
Anyway,
stop
busy.
playing crypto with your internet friends type thing. Yeah, no, and like just different things. You know, it was some of the questions that he was asking was like, you know, well, what's it going to cost me to mint an NFT? Well, like, I don't know, the same as any other transaction. You just have a contract first, which you need to deploy. Obviously, you need to pay the cake holder to deploy that contract, but then you can go nuts. You know, and what happens if I sell them? I don't know. We take a small cut and you keep the rest. Oh, okay. And then you ask that same question to different chains, and the answers were quite interesting.
It's going to take you days or weeks to mint an NFT, and you've got to do it all in advance, and you've got to pay us a lot of money per NFT, and
regardless if it sells.
Yeah. We won't mention names of people, but
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, but I think
they're
one of the
popping up in the screen right now. Listen, joke.
For me, one of the kind of big things too was we haven't actually gone into this with the community too much yet. There's a little bit of info on our site, but we haven't delved into it too much. But I've got like a longer term vision for the community of Pavilion and gaming and 22 Racing as the first case for that, where you've got community sort of nested contracts where someone comes in like. I want it sort of from the bottom to the top. So somebody comes in, they build a car, they own that car, or they build a track, they own that track, and then they're sort of monetizing that digitization of their asset on the chain, right? And then somebody comes in above that, you know, some other time they make a tournament, and then they license those smart contracts that built those vehicle or track NFTs, and they run a tournament, and then you can connect that smart contract to servers who run that. So there's essentially like this kind of tiering of smart contracts, so everyone can monetize from building a car to tuning a car to racing to running tournaments to promoting tournaments. And that's the kind of stuff where everyone I spoke to was like, man, that's a great idea, but the blockchains just cannot do it. Like you're going to need Ethereum 2.0 or 3.0 before that's even possible. So forget about that. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to forget about that. Like I don't want to wait 4 or 5 years for that to maybe happen, you know?
Yeah, so let's dive a little bit into the game we are discussing right now. We saw all those footage from PAX last edition, and the most famous scene I already said was by Schilling, our Prime Minister in Holland. But what can you tell the people about the game, which is currently in beta, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I'll firstly mention your Prime Minister. By the way, he's a lovely guy. He's really cool. So you've got a good Prime Minister there.
Well,
so well done.
We didn't expect him at a game conference at all, but yeah, it's kind of cool if you see a figure like that, you know, showing up at PAX and exactly at your stage.
Well, he's a smart guy. He's looking at esports around the world, so place to be.
No, totally. Your Prime Minister is incredibly smart and on point with technology and what's happening now and what's happening in the future. And I mean, I'll give you an example. One of the things, so I do some sort of consultation with local government here about technology and gaming and esports and such. So I heard back that he asked them when he was going to go to PAX, he's like, yeah, well, where's the serious games section? Like, that's one of the first questions. He wants to see what's happening in gamifications for training. And yeah, he's thinking very sort of ahead of the curve.
You want to see what's happening today, what's happening in the future, and then he ends up at your stage.
Yeah.
Why was it? Yeah. What can you tell us about the details of the game? Because I saw some footage. It was really awesome, but that's only my opinion. I will show some footage also while we are doing this interview, so people can...
Hang on. You're not playing it yet? You know it's live, right?
Yeah, right. Okay.
What are you doing? Okay, I know what you're doing after this.
What he's doing right now is he's actually playing the game but chatting to us. He's like doing the same thing at the same time. Yeah.
Well, you better be.
Yeah, multitasking, game playing, YouTube broadcast interview.
Yeah.
So sorry, Rob. So some details about the game.
Yeah. Well, what can you tell us about the game? Because I saw some beta footage already. But it's a multiplayer race game.
Yep.
It's you can drag your own assets in it. You can store it. You have your own identity. So what makes this game special comparing to other race games who are existing right now?
Yeah. Cool. That's a really loaded question because I've done quite a lot So what I usually do to kind of break it down for people is to break into sort of a few little groups and talk about each group separately, just so nobody gets their mind blown too quickly. So obviously for people who are watching this, probably interested in crypto, right? So from the crypto side, there's all the economics that's different. So the game itself is an NFT, so you use that game license to unlock via Pavilion. So you download Pavilion, connect your wallet, and then Pavilion is sort of like a Steam thing, just in and of itself. So your NFT license sits in there, it validates with the chain, says that you own it. Now you can launch it, download it, update it, all of that sort of stuff. But then the vehicles and vehicle parts themselves, so you can own all of your assets yourself. So now you're racing your car. It's got your, like, it's minted on chain, it's got your history attached to it. So when you're racing, it gets your stats attached to it. So if you were to take this car into a race, then you can, and you win a tournament, then you can on-sell that vehicle later on for, you know, for your own money. You can sort of make your own brand around that as well. Yeah, and there's kind of more we could go into that with future stuff as well, with track building, etc. From the gameplay side, the gameplay is a new genre of racing game, like, entirely. So we're calling it RTS racing, or real-time strategy racing. Yeah, I try to simplify it. Like, it's kind of like bringing like a real-time strategy kind of economics, like a StarCraft, into racing to a point. So generally speaking, as you drive, you get resources from a few different activities in the game, but collecting sectors is one. So faster sector time gives you and your team ownership over a sector, which gives you resources. You can then spend resources to boost your car for an instant sort of speed gain, or upgrade your car in race times. You can upgrade engine, boosters, tires, that kind of thing. Yeah. And then beyond that, there's also these things that we call abilities. So abilities are things where you can paint the track to give an area of effect to you and your teammates to help you, or to hamper opponents.
Yes. And Bill.
Yeah, so these are all things that are like very new, and this is all done. I should say it's also, we kind of call it a future physics racing game. So it's got the look of a Wipeout or F-Zero through the speed, because these cars go 1,000 plus kilometers per hour, but it's all done using real vehicle physics. So these cars have engines, they have tires, they have grip. Like, you're doing all of this, like, using physics, and that's been incredibly complicated to engineer these vehicles to be able to do that.
Yes, absolutely.
So I mean, there is an underlying physics and gaming engine called RevGen, which is a proprietary thing that they've actually built from the ground up. And you punch in, how many parameters do you punch in for the physics of what the vehicle can actually do? I've seen the screen. It's like, it makes you dizzy.
It's quite a lot. Yeah, there's kind of 100 or more. Like, there's, yeah, spring coefficients and spring length, and I mean, all the usual stuff you kind of expect with building a vehicle. One of the kind of key things that we've done is, again, if you've got like a car that can go from 1 to 300 or 400 k's per hour, it's going to be good for a sort of certain section of that speed, but not good at the start or the end. Like, you know, the way you tune an engine, and the way it handles corners at different speeds, all that sort of stuff. So introduce this technology that we call keyframing. So as the car goes faster and faster, the car setup actually changes. So as you go faster and faster, for example, the camber of the tires or the wheels changes to give you more grip at better stability at higher speed. The aerodynamics change. So as you drive, because the faster you go, the more downforce you create. So the spoilers kind of flatten out as you go faster and faster, and
so
a lot of.
Like,
what's cool about, let me just add 2 more cents. What's cool about that is, what's also their bread and butter on the side is that real world physics doesn't have to be applied to a car that can go 1,000 kilometers an hour. It can be applied to a car that does 50. So it's actually been adopted by a lot of and licensed by providers that are doing driving simulation, driver training, traffic simulation. I mean, there's really no limit. Sports games, there's no limit to what, you know, to what that real world physics engine can be applied to. So that's you know, that's worth noting. So it's had spin-off effects that they didn't expect. I mean, they built it as a prerequisite for, you know, 22 series, and went, oh, hang on, we could probably use, you know, they could use it for all this other stuff as well. Yeah, it's
funny how tech sort of changes and opportunities change. Like, as Billy said, again, thinking back to when we started, we knew that we could use other engines to build what we needed to do with 22. But we saw sort of limitations and possible kind of future threats to our business through doing that. So two examples are, if we want to have the cars going 1,000 kilometers per hour and we want to have the 600 hertz frame refresh rate for the physics, which is what we actually do because the cars are going so fast. If another engine changes some sort of way that they process that on with a multi-core CPU or something, if they don't multi-thread that right, then we could just totally have our game ruined because their engine doesn't support it or a new build breaks it or something. But then from the threats point of view, you can imagine if we used another licensed engine and then we build a game that's as big as an esport, and then suddenly we kind of get notified by the engine provider saying, okay, you've got a license to sort of distribute this game through a platform, but you don't have license to broadcast it at a stadium as an esport. You've got to pay us $100,000 to broadcast this game, right? They could totally bring us down just through changing the sort of the user agreement on us overnight, which is what happens. So we built it from scratch. Yeah. But it's used for driver training, and I think the kind of key point there has been because we've built it just to do like rate of vehicle physics really fast and racing really fast. That means that we can do things like driver training quite easily because it's very sort of good on performance. So that you can do good physics on a lower end machine. And doing traffic simulation with AI means we'd have hundreds, thousands of cars in a scene and do traffic AI to sort of test. Like we basically send AI into a road network and test the sort of intersection efficacy between roundabouts and signaled intersections. Anyway, that's stuff.
Yeah. So now we see a high quality racing game, and we see an economic integration into the blockchain. That's where Phantasma steps in. So like we mentioned already, the items, like every item in the game is an NFT token, a non-fungible token, a token with its own identity basically. Yeah. So you can store your game items, the game itself, on a private key, but then we have like a software game based on a platform, and we have a private key with the items. Now the game is in beta testing. It's, in my opinion, already almost ready to see the world. And
Garth doesn't half-ass things, so he sort of frustrates some people at times. But you kind of get why when you see what he delivers. So when he just tells me it's going to take this long, I'm like, okay.
So, but now you have to imagine me as a regular pleb. I'm logging in. I'm buying the game, or I will log in on the console that I play, or the PC or whatever. But how can I put my items in and out?
Okay, so we'll think of it this way: that so this is why the PavillionHub was set up, is to make that process as streamlined as possible. Now, the ideal situation, especially once Garth can talk to more about this later, because obviously you need to buy these items. But the ideal situation here is that, I'm not muted, is that the PavillionHub serves as a one-stop shop. So you literally just download that to your computer, you log in. Actually, if you don't have a wallet, it just creates one for you. So you don't even have to know that that's going on. And I guess the best way I can describe it is, you're doing e-commerce shopping, but instead of your items getting delivered to your house, they get delivered to your wallet. Mm-hmm. Wallet exists on the blockchain. Now, I mean, for the average gamer, they don't really give a shit. But they know that instead of, you've got a bunch of parts that you've purchased, you've also got a license to drive, and you've got a bunch of vehicles. Now, instead of them sitting in your, in your garage, they're sitting in a blockchain wallet, and that's it really. And what's cool about it is the way that we've constructed this, and this took a lot of effort, but instead of pre-minting stuff and then handing them out, which is kind of lame if you ask me, what we've done, and we've spent a lot of effort on that, and Vince has been pretty pivotal in all this, along with all the GOATi team, the lead developer Brooke, is for the ability that when you buy something, it mints it then and there. So it literally manufactures what you just bought and delivers it to your wallet. And that's it. Then you can just use it. It syncs up with the blockchain. And this is why they went to the effort to build Pavilion, and I'm sure Garth can tell us about the future plans for Pavilion, but it's meant to be there as a barrier breaker because for the most part, people just, especially mainstream gamers, they don't really know what blockchain is, except that some people got rich buying Bitcoin early and now have Lambos. And everyone else since is asking when Lambo. But
and kind of interrupt, and some people like Garth who had the Bitcoin miner installed stopped it. So there's people on all sides of that fence,
Yeah. Well, what were we saying the other day? If there was one piece of advice, if I could go back in time and give myself one piece of advice.
It would have been to not stop the Bitcoin miner and just stop working and go to the pub for a few hours.
just go and drink and keep your computer running. Yeah.
Look, work less hard. Anyway.
So basically, we built a bridge now for the people who are not familiar with crypto, because when I started with crypto, I lost already a lot of wallets, because I downloaded a private key or something and it was gone, in my trash can or whatever. But regular people who didn't touch crypto yet, they are still rich, I guess, don't have any knowledge about storing a private key or to secure a wallet. They don't even know about the address they are carrying with them. So Pavilion steps in here and will make the bridge from the game to the crowd who don't have any connection with crypto yet.
Well, it actually does more than that too, but I'll let Garth talk to that.
Yeah. So we kind of wanted to build, and we'll say again, this is in beta mode, right? So the way it is right now is going to be different to how it is like in a week or two. So we've got some big changes coming in a couple of weeks. So I'll kind of speak to kind of both of those points. Because by the time most people see this video, the sort of phase 2 will be already in. But essentially the idea is if you come in with a wallet, then you can come into Pavilion and you can connect that wallet. So it doesn't sort of keep blockchain enthusiasts out. It's kind of built for both. So you can come in, you can connect your wallet, and then put your assets in there, and then you can use that to race, with the game and build your vehicles. If you come in without a wallet, as Billy said, just make an account. It makes a wallet for you. You can then use a passcode, your own sort of passcode on your machine, to lock that. So then we basically sort of hash that on a local sort of account on your machine. So that's locked. So that's kind of a hidden wallet that's local to you. So it's very easy to get into. So it's kind of no different to Steam. So I want to make this an experience where if you wanted to have like a Steam-like experience, but for blockchain games, like this is it. You download, there's going to be a website launching soon, so you can just go straight to the Pavilion website and have the store all there again, like Steam. But then you download the client, you jump in, it creates a wallet for you if you make an account. The shop is going to be in Pavilion in a couple of weeks, so that's that phase 2 I mentioned. Right now you need to go to our website to go to that shop to buy from there, and then have that in a wallet and then connect that wallet to Pavilion or transfer from that wallet you just made on the website to the Pavilion wallet. So there's like one step in the middle right now, but that's going to be gone in a couple of weeks. So the process is in a couple of weeks. You just go into Pavilion, it makes a wallet for you. You go to the shop, you buy right there, using fiat currency if you want, or using existing tokens as well. We've got a new partner coming on board to help us with the crypto exchange stuff.
What?
Which is going to be pretty exciting for the next announcement.
You can secretly announce that nobody watched this video anyways.
Beep. Let's just say people can figure it out pretty easily if they kind of check out the game, I guess, and kind of look around at the website and stuff. But look, let's just say there's a company that have a really fantastic exchange for cryptocurrency that are really well respected because they're doing things right and they're very regulated and very trustworthy and have a great user experience. So that's what we want. So it aligns with us perfectly. So to go into Pavilion and know that if you are spending cryptocurrency to buy your assets in the game, then you want to have a nice, easy, trusted, experience that you can. So you
right now.
Lose money here.
Yeah. So right now we're using, as for people that. Now, the sole purchase, the actual buying of NFTs via the website and having that link. So we're actually testing out the Phantasma Link, which will coincide with Poltergeist 1.7. And I think Vincent will probably turn around a Phantom version that supports it. I think it already does. It actually works right now. We're just doing the final testing. So I'll have that probably released once I jump off this video, write the release notes. So, you know, for the people that are already familiar with Phantasma and so forth, that whole step of going to the website, seeing what you want to buy, clicking on it, and then, you know, it instantly opens your wallet, in the same way that, say, MetaMask would work right now, if anyone's familiar with that. That will be going live today. So that removes a lot of the jumble from that side, because that was always a bit of a barrier. But then Garth and his team are taking it one step further. And, you know, so, you know, previously we were using coin payments and PayPal. And PayPal are a fun company, aren't they, Garth? You like them? I've got nothing but high praises for PayPal. But, you know...
we had a Twitter incident. Anyway, let's just say that I can say this publicly because we made it public on Twitter. Like, their service desk didn't respond to us for 2 months or something, and then they locked our account. And we had people wanting to buy our game, and it's kind of funny because
I'm so flabbergasted. I never heard of incidents with PayPal before.
People were like, "Take my money." He's like, "I really want to."
I think Brooke put it really well on Twitter when he said, "Wow, like we've been working." Essentially, I'll add a few little words in here. I'll paraphrase, but like we're an indie team. We've worked on this game for 10 years, not getting paid for it over this whole time. Now that we finally release it, and people want to pay for it, they can't. It's like, and just during the coronavirus, just when we need money as well. Like it's like, well, you know, now it's kind of we're in lockdown. We need to, you know, pay bills, and there was like there was a bit of friction there with getting those payments through, but it's solved now. That's good.
Yeah, I think Garth contributed about 100k Cal to the swear jar wallet that we've set up. So you might want to top that up again, man.
I've put a bit of my own hair out as well. I just have more hair than
you got more than me, man.
Let's discuss a little bit about the income.
But look, the missing piece of the puzzle there was to have a trusted liquidity provider, you know, to make, you know, to fill that last gap of Pavilion. Is like, you know, where do the purchases come from and so forth.
Yeah.
So,
and someone that we have a deeper corporate agreement with as well. So where it's just sort of integrating with a payment wallet you just get online, but they don't have a relationship with. This is a company we'll have a relationship with and have more of a corporate partnership with.
All right. So Pavilion is, in my opinion, the MetaMask, but then for the regular people outside of crypto, you can register yourself to buy the game, to buy some items without having the struggle to learn all about crypto on forehand.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Pavilion is taking all that care for you, including the security also.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So awesome. the general plan is like you want to have as easy as possible. So you want to, for gamers who want to come in and you want to make people want cryptocurrencies and blockchain tokens to be useful. They need to be a utility. People aren't using them; they're worthless, right? Like they need to have some kind of useful purpose, right? So if we can have a gaming experience, where people can come in, use tokens in a very frictionless way, and have as good an experience, or hopefully kind of even better, just for the gaming aspect. But then, and so that's fantastic. But then underneath that, or beside that, now you've got these tokens or assets that aren't locked in someone else's service, as is currently the case, right? So people have accounts, and again, I won't kind of mention, but they're all kind of the same. People have accounts on these other platforms on their phones or computers or whatever, and everything they buy, like it's kind of almost like you pay to buy something, but you don't own it. Like it's almost like a promise that will give you access to this, but it's not yours, right? So one example, I don't have any game disc lying around, but if you buy a game on a disc, then I can play it, I can lend it to my friends, I can go to the shop and sell it or trade it. Like it's mine, and digital assets should not be any different. Like if something's in my online account with a platform, I should be able to sell that if I want, or sell the items if I want, without selling my whole account. It's
exactly.
Incredibly awkward, and it's just not what people want.
No, and so like I mentioned before recording, you can also give something away on a birthday or something. For example, I can give my little brother a car for this game with one transaction, and he owns then my car, and he can play with it, or he can do whatever. And that's basically the new feature of gaming in the future with the blockchain integration, because now like you mentioned, you really own the parts different from each other, so you don't have to see your whole account as one item anymore, which you don't
Yeah.
even own currently. But
No, it's
yeah,
like actually I found this the other day. I managed to dig it up. I found the original like this
Half-Life.
is like version 1.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll give this away for
I'll give
viewers.
this
It's
away.
actually yeah, that's fine. I actually found it the other day because someone was giving me online that I thought I'd actually lost it. I had like the original copy, and there's like how many?
All right, Bill. What does the viewer have to do to win this?
I don't know.
Half-Life?
Yeah, they're your viewers. You decide. I don't care. I'm just gonna mail it somewhere.
All right, we will think about it. Is
But
it fine?
it's got how many? It's just an example of how far things have come in 16 years. I mean, look at this. I mean, so we're talking about a digital version of this, which was back then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 discs.
Wow.
Yeah, this is like I dug this out because I really wanted to find it because and what's really cool and the best thing about 22, and I think that's why because I know back in the day if you wanted to play Counter-Strike you needed to buy Half-Life 2.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone went out and everyone had a copy of Half-Life 2, and we're trying to replicate that same experience with 22 because you can Half-Life 2 was very moddable, and Counter-Strike is still going now. 16 years later.
Yeah, still.
So yeah, 22 series highly moddable. It has all the same attributes just in a digital format. Now Pavilion breaks down some of the barriers there. We're also trying to break it down. For regular blockchain users, try to break that down as well.
Mm-hmm.
With the Phantasma Link, that's a major step forward. Been an absolute pain in the ass to get working, which goes live today. So it's just we're trying to do a digital version of what was done before, where it's your property, it's completely moddable. The thing ideally runs for another 16, 20 years and just keeps growing.
Yeah.
As more people come on board.
Yeah, there's other stuff. Like there's the whole thing that you can do with digital assets in a way that you couldn't do like with a physical asset as well, right? So one example is the vehicle that you mentioned, like giving to your brother, and now you can race it. And I said to you before this year, we were just kind of chatting casually, is that vehicle doesn't even have to be just an asset that you can play with. It can be a ticket essentially to something. So it can be a ticket to a racing series. Yeah. So that vehicle might unlock access to a let's say the Kraken vehicle as the example. That might unlock access to the Kraken race where you can then go and race and win money and speak to friends. That's kind of like a social and an economic benefit. So people are now just not racing for fun, but they can own their assets. They can use that to enter tournaments. They can use that to monetize through winning from tournaments. So it's a huge game changer.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and we weren't even sure. I mean, when we set up the marketplace, some of the usage things, quite interesting. What we've noticed is the marketplace has been incredibly popular because it takes 25, for every parts pack, there's 5 parts in it. And it takes about 20, is it 24 or 25 parts to make a car, Garth? I can't remember.
It's 25 parts.
25. Okay.
25.
I'm pretty sure one's decorative.
Well, kind of. Yes.
Anyway, so you can imagine that the marketplace has been incredibly popular because people are opening all these parts pack, and then they might want to make a car that looks exactly how they want it, and they might have, 22 of the 25 parts already, but they need those last 3, and they just can't seem to get them in the parts pack. So that's when they hit the marketplace, and to the point where we hadn't even catered for the demand. I think how many items are on there now? I'm gonna have a look.
It's over 20.
A lot.
20,000 or something, right? I've got.
Yeah, that's. I remember Vincent was like, "Oh my god," he's tearing his hair out. Like I was not expecting it to be this popular.
Yeah. Well, about those parts, we are giving away packs, like
nice.
You saw on Twitter already. The winners of these packs are already known, and you will see it in the screen right now and after the video on the socials also. So this is where the guy is talking about. There are packs for sale, and there are per pack 5 items in it. We don't know.
At least, right? Yeah, at least. We'll mention, like, we've kind of done it in a very kind of cool, honest and transparent way as well, right? So each pack has at least 5 vehicle parts in there that are randomized. So on that topic, the parts inside the pack and the chances of getting them are totally transparent. So you can go and inspect that part pack NFT, and you can see every single part. It's a big, there's like probably 1,000 parts in it. There's a big window, like of all the parts you can get, and it's got all the odds of getting it on sort of what we call like the rolls of the dice. Like so for each part, it kind of rolls a dice internal. And then you can go and validate that roll. So you're actually able to validate the part pack after you opened it to make sure that we weren't cheating at any point. Like we didn't know what was in there. It was randomized. So you can validate that.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll mention is we do this thing where we have like the special bonus giveaway. So you get what you pay for. There's 5 parts. You're going to get 5 parts, and you can see what they are. But then you've got a chance of a roll at the end where you might win a car or not, and that's one of the partner vehicles. So yeah, I just like that it's all transparent, it's all fair, it's all like there's no opaque stuff. It's not like, to take it back again, it's not like the kind of current version of the things that you get, like the loot boxes in current platforms that are opaque and you don't know what's in there, and it's not cool. So this is all transparent. It's all visible.
I think the most people from the Phantasma Chain tried it already, and like Bill mentioned, with the marketplace integrated into the Phantasma wallet. Yeah, it's great. It works so smoothly. I even tried to trade it already, some parts.
Let me take over for a sec. Hang on.
It's almost instant now.
Yeah. What are we up to now? 22,000 NFTs. This has all been organic. 22, yeah. Oh, I always 22 like implanted in my head. I have to get it out with a bullet.
There are 23 too.
There's 23, but it's just been incredibly popular, and you can see this little thing at the top here, the Phantasma Link. So that's what we're testing now, where literally, you click on the item you want to buy, you click that, and it'll open your wallet and ask for verification, and that's it. It's yours, and you can see, people keep asking, well, what can I use my KCAL for? Well, there, go use it.
Yeah.
Like, there's tons of people selling stuff for KCAL. It's a utility token that's actually getting used. It's this amazing concept, and we're just trying to make that easier and easier. I mean, to the point where we've always this adoption word gets thrown around, and most of the time I hear it, I'm just like, bullshit. But this, real adoption is you're using blockchain and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
And that's where we want to be, right? I do not want to be explaining it to my mate or someone, because you've had those conversations and it just ends up with, how do I stop sharing? It just ends up with, oh, is it that Bitcoin thing?
Always.
And you honestly, after a while, I'm going to put 10 kcal in the swear jar. You honestly can't be fucked after a while explaining it. You really can't. It's just, you'll be there banging your head against the wall for a thing. You can't articulate it to someone that doesn't understand it. You need to show them. And you need to make it a way that they're using it, but they don't even know. The only thing they know is that it's their property, and they're just got to back up their key, the same as you would back up. The same way you would create a copy of your own car keys. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Well, same as owning a digital copy of the game. If you own a digital copy of the game, don't lose it. If you lose it, you lost it. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I've got one last question regarding to Pavilion. We saw it on the thumbnail already. Connect Phantasma with Steam. So we can assume that the Steam game is almost there, right? Or is it?
Yep.
So people can go to Steam.
It's the same game.
So the concept is, and I'll actually kind of mention something after this as well that's interesting. So the idea here is that there are going to be games that want to still distribute through, I'll mention something else first. What we want to do is we want to have Pavilion be not just a platform for 22RacingSeries, but a platform for lots of other games. Right? So any other game that wants to have a blockchain integration for the inventory or whatever, they can come and have Pavilion be that inventory. So to that point, people who might have the game already on Steam, they've already got whatever it is, 10,000, 100,000 million users who've already bought the game on Steam. They don't want to maybe use an inventory that's on the blockchain, because then people have to come and buy the game again on blockchain, and they don't want to do it. So the concept here is, if you can link your Steam account to Pavilion, then somebody can log into Pavilion. They can, we can then check with your account that you own that game, whether it be our game, 22RacingSeries, or another game. right? And we validate through Steam that yes, you own the game, therefore we'll give you access to that sort of digital version, the NFT version of the game, and you can run it. And then the inventory is run and handled by Pavilion on the blockchain. So yeah, the idea is just kind of make it easy for people who have already got games out, who already have users, to come and use blockchain inventory.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. And also
that's the general flow. So again, for us, people come into Pavilion, they can connect their Steam wallet, they can validate they already have a key on Steam. So 22RacingSeries is on Steam, you can go and check it out. It's currently not launched through Steam, so you can't buy it, you can only get a key if you've kind of come to events. So there are some hundreds of people who have keys to 22RacingSeries on Steam, but they're all kind of esports. They're all kind of esports events people or partners. So people who are doing partnerships with, or who have come to the tournaments like at PAX, we run PAX, or Melbourne Esports Open, we run competitions and we give away copies of the game. So they can go in, they can connect their Steam account. They don't have to buy the race license as an NFT. They just connect to Steam and then they can have their inventory on Pavilion or on Phantasma.
Yes.
Yeah, and as the game starts hitting more and more mediums, you still have that one copy, right? I mean, I think I've bought 6 copies of Skyrim now. Just every time it comes out on something different. Like I think I just bought another one for Nintendo Switch the other day. So we're trying to avoid that situation too. You buy the game once and that's it. It's your property.
Yeah. So how are things going by Phantasma on the background now with all those NFTs, minting, transactions? How it feels by the team? Is it all going like expected? Better?
Yeah, it's actually going really well. When the minting on demand, just in the way that the storage was handled, was putting a fair bit of stress on it. I know a few months back, there was, it did slow down a fair bit. So what we did is a full overhaul of the way that the chain data gets stored, so that we now have a absolutely secure RocksDB, which is an automatically indexed storage solution for the chain data. And that was the brainchild of Mel. So implementing that and testing it and rolling it out to the BPs and then pushing it out, took a fair bit of effort. I think there's been 4 times when I haven't saved. Once when the chain went live, once when we redid that, because that was a monumental effort to redo all that. And then again when when we launched the 22 series, the first, the pre-sale store, and then again when Pavilion went live. So they've been the 4 all-nighters, but it sort of tells the story of the history of the project. But that's so people keep asking when are we going to bring more BPs on. So what we've done is that overhaul of the chain storage data, the synchronization of that across the whole network, which is currently 13 nodes, is going to take more and more testing. So we've got a test net at the moment where we're doing all that. But I mean, you would have noticed now that it's fast. It's just humming. It's really humming. So we've never been better on that side of things. And
it was kind of good in that case. Like that's what you need use cases for chains for. Like it was always meant to be this kind of solution for gaming, and we wanted the instant minting, so we implemented that, and then it kind of shows you where you need to make improvements in performance. So that's like normal game development as well. Like you want to achieve something, you test it out, you optimize it. So it's been a really great kind of connection with us together, getting the game, pushing the chain pushes the game.
Yeah, and that's why we've had a very, very, I mean, this is not a golden handshake partnership. I think when we announced the partnership, I think it pissed some people off, because, I don't know, they weren't big enough or something. But, 99.9% of partnerships are bullshit. They don't talk. Nothing ever gets delivered. I mean, we're on the phone all the time, just guys like Vincent and Garth, Brooke, myself, Sergio, everyone that's involved in this thing, are constantly talking. It's just like, oh crap, all the inventory is taking forever. I mean, that was another issue that came up. Then we figured out that, oh crap, we're not, we're retrieving it a whole bunch of times every time, every few seconds. It's like, instead of just sending it once and then doing the, handling it at the client level. So, just these little tweaks that, along with the big stuff that have just made the whole quality of life much better. And the only way that we ever would have got to that, I mean, there's no way we would have got to that situation with simulated tests and all that. You need real users, and you need to see how people are going to use it. And you need a very capable and open and a chatty team that gets along, to get it to where it needs to be. And that's where we are right now. I couldn't, I remember when Garth was explaining all this stuff to me, of his vision for Pavilion 22 and plugging it in, and we were so excited about it, and the fact that it's actually live and out there, and I was using it that we're all using it now. I'm in there, and what's funny is we found that especially with COVID going on, a lot of people are spending more time, making vehicles than they are actually racing, which is I wasn't expecting that. But it's a great, people like building things. To see all that working now after so much time, and to come from to go from a conversation to which blockchain do we use to, hey, I just downloaded this on my PC and I'm building cars and racing them. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's it's taken about a year, and it's been a really wild ride. And it's been. Yeah, it's had its highs and lows, but I think it's been fantastic. So
I mean, if you had have asked me a year ago when we first had this conversation, if you had have asked me, where would be by now, or would we have 22 out on the blockchain with, with everything that we have in the NFT access, and then had Pavilion out where we have our own blockchain gaming version of Steam, I would just say there's no way. Like that's too optimistic. Like we've done more than I would have expected, but that's what you get with a big team that's all pushing and working together for sure.
Absolutely. So guys, to closely reach to the end of the interview, are there any things to look forward for? Are you have any goals set in the near future to want to achieve, or are there things coming up that you want to expose already for the both of you? So as well Bill, as well Garth. Let's begin with Garth. Are there any more milestones for you to reach in the upcoming weeks, months?
Yeah, definitely. On the Pavilion side, the next milestone is just getting that sort of the last couple of pieces in to make it like a one-stop shop, one-click solution. And that'll be in, again, like by the time most people are watching this video, it's probably mostly there, if not already. So that's the next milestone. That'll be in a couple of weeks. So that's going to be huge. I think what else? There's a lot of stuff coming. So we've kind of, this preseason sale that we're running right now, that's going to stop at some point. That's a limited time thing, right? Yeah. So at the end of that, we're going to run our tournament esports series. So there's going to be a prize pool, there's going to be competitions, there's going to be multiplayer tournament action. So that's our next big milestone. So by the end of the preseason sale, the NFT license will stop being available for sale. So it's like you get it now or you don't get it until we release it again. So that's going to be a big thing. And I guess I can mention we are also, I can't announce names, but we're also working with a large vehicle manufacturer on some racing things that I want to bring into Pavilion. So that'll be interesting when I can announce that. And even I just sort of quickly mentioned beyond that, like I'm kind of known in the gaming community as being sort of some of the forerunners of gaming integration stuff. So I've got a lot of people that I know that are looking to us to say, well, when you've got Pavilion out, when you've got that solution done, let us know because we want to bring our game to blockchain. So awesome. Once we kind of tick these last few boxes, we're sort of expecting floodgates to open a little bit. So yeah, I'm looking forward. That's the milestones essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I think the car manufacturer would be really cool. It'd be nice to take that vehicle builder and apply it. Take it to apply it elsewhere as well. Anyway, talking about the tournament, shit, it's up to six grand US. Which is probably $5 million Australian the way our dollar's going. So it's practice, guys, practice. I mean, it's out there right now. It's cheaper to buy it with Sol, but if you don't have Sol, you can buy it with fiat or crypto, with other cryptos. But obviously Sol attracts a discount. But go and buy it and practice because there's a $6,000 prize, which is only going to get bigger. So.
Bill? Or maybe I'll make a quick mention too. Like up until now, because we really want to have this kind of Pavilion one-stop shop solution, go in there, buy thing, sort of done before we do any marketing and PR. So we've kind of, we haven't been totally silent, but we have been quiet. We're sort of considering us still in this kind of soft launch part of this pre-season sale. So once we get this next integration part of Pavilion in, which is in the next couple of weeks, next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to start doing marketing and some press. And when we do this thing with the partner, we're going to do some sort of collaboration marketing. So yeah, expect some more attention as well. So I think the Pavilion fans, people who already know the product and are seeing that we're not marketing. I think there's a lot of them saying, come on, market this. So I think I'd be happy to hear that we are going to do that very soon.
Yeah, awesome. So now we switch over to Bill, because when I announced that I'll have Bill on the show with you, people are hitting my DMs, hitting me on Twitter, and asking me all the same question. So before Bill can announce or can talk about the future milestones of Phantasma, we have to talk about Nacho Man.
Right.
Nacho Man.
Okay. So look, yeah, that's. I kept mentioning that we diverted a lot of attention to get the chain, to iron out kinks in the chain after we launched the 22 thing, because that was ready to go. Nacho Man the game 2.0 has been ready for it's been ready since last year. But what we did want to do is retweak the economy aspects of it and almost 22 series, because I mean, quite frankly, Garth understands games better than us. So we really wanted to learn from the experience that they got.
Yeah.
And what that has taught me, and I remember, Garth called me from San Fran, because I went into the office one day, bought them all lunch, and drew up what I thought made sense from an economy point of view on the whiteboard, and Garth basically took that and pretty much, used it as spare toilet paper during the COVID crisis. And I remember you went over to San Fran for, what was the thing you went, it was the Defense Force.
Game Developer Conference.
No, wasn't it the other one?
Yeah, you mean that was for gosh, why was this blank?
Yeah, you won the Australian
conference. Yeah, it's either the cybersecurity conference, RSA, or it was GDC.
It was GDC. That's right.
Okay,
but I remember you were over there and you weren't feeling that crash hard about it, and you were like, you were just re-brainstorming the idea for the economy, and you rang me, and it was some insane time, and I'm like, again, I got told off for playing with my internet friends again. And then, say hi to Garth. The model that he came up with, I didn't really get it at the time. I'm just like, it just seems too simple, but it just works. So the parts backs with the roll of the dice element has just been incredibly popular, which has then flowed into the vehicle construction, which has then flowed into the marketplace, and it's just had all these spin-off effects. So we've learned a lot. I mean, obviously that's just proven, with pretty much no marketing, with, the prize pool, which is 10% of sales, is already up to $6,000 US.
Yeah.
So it's obviously been incredibly successful. They minted close to 150,000 non-fungible tokens, again, organically, with very little to no marketing. So that's just been a major, that's if you can't look at that and say it's been successful, then you're blind. So what we're now doing is just applying what we think are economic aspects to Nacho Man that could replicate some of that success. And it has a lot of the same components with the luchadors. I mean, consider a luchador like a car. Consider say if you put a mankini on a luchador, that might be a part. Not saying that I'm not confirming or denying that that's coming, but so what we're doing now, what we are doing is applying those economic aspects to Nacho Man. And again, as soon as you do that, then you got to go test it and all the other fun stuff that goes with it. So as soon as that's done, it launches. But I mean, right now, and I think I said this in the AMA the other day, right now our two main priorities one is to get an ERC 2.0 standard counterpart for Sol out there, because and look, the buy desk listing was great, and really appreciate it. And they've been very good. They've jumped on the forum, fairly friendly. It's quite strange actually to see people jumping on the forum and talking to people. Most of the time it's some sort of shill or something like that, but these are just like genuine people jumping on and helping people out. So that's been great.
No.
But Net5 can only go so far, and certain payment providers and so forth, liquidity providers, they just do not deal in Net5. It's got to be Ethereum, ERC 2.0. So that is absolutely our highest priority right now, is to create that ERC 2.0 counterpart. So literally the moment that we drop Poltergeist 1.7 and the corresponding Phantasma Link, which is going to be, will be sometime this weekend or early next. Well, we're testing it now. I'll be writing release notes after this. As soon as that goes in, we need to get that out the door, obviously, because it streamlines the buy process and just makes things a lot more flexible. Next major priority after that is the ERC 2.0. Priority after that is to rescale out the blockchain again, to get more nodes. I mean, with 13 nodes, we want to scale that down and get more BPs on. But obviously, we've got to finish, the full end-to-end testing for the synchronization. So with consensus, and it's not simple stuff. So I mean, there are absolute priorities. Once we get all that out of the way, then Nachoman will come back with those revised economic aspects.
Yeah,
and of course we'll definitely we'll be serving it up on Pavilion. I mean, it just makes absolute sense.
Yep.
Yeah, why not?
Another title, yeah. And
so when Nacho Man comes back, it'll be bigger and stronger Nacho Man than ever, right?
Yeah, bigger and better. Yes, indeed. With more accessories.
Yeah.
Some
I think
fun.
we need to have
fun
I
exclusives.
think we need to have a goatee. Can we have a goatee Nacho Man, which is just like a goat, maybe?
Like a guard, or a guard in game.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Yeah. I don't see why.
Well,
not.
little Easter
Now
egg.
we have to look out, because or else we are going to get a Mankini car also in 22 series, right?
That's neither confirmed nor denied by any sources. Yeah, I don't.
Comment.
Yeah, okay.
No comments. Guys, can I?
Well, there will be a Garth has confirmed there will be a Mankini Cup at some point. So those.
All right. Yes, there are plans for Mankini car. Yes, there are.
No, cup.
Cup.
Oh,
The
cup.
tournament.
Yes,
The tournament.
yeah.
Yeah. We're going to do that.
Yeah,
That was the whole point. We
Do
printed a few fun tokens, which I guess the sense of humor is not that great at the moment, but we printed some of those fun tokens, and then I've just sort of been handing them out for free. Feel free to give some out to your viewers. I can send you some after this. They've got a really low supply, and the idea was that we'd unlock special events and special items in these games and so forth. That was the purpose of them. It was meant to be a little bit of fun, and I think a few people sort of missed the point, really. What serious investor is going to go near anything like that was one of the comments. I'm like, well, what serious investor?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Don't know. Yeah,
It's meant to be fun. Like, we're meant to be having some fun with this.
If there's no fun in any of this stuff, what is the point? I mean, the only reason why I do any of this stuff is because I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
If I was just in this for money, I would have quit ages ago.
Well, if you are here for the money, then I don't know what we are actually doing the last 2 years, but.
Well, but it's the same thing. The first .com, went through these ups and downs and all that, and the good things that had working products and working users sort of dominated, and the rest just sort of disappeared. But the skills you learned during those periods set you up for the next 20 years. So
Absolutely.
I think we're sort of at one of those new points. If you cut through all the nonsense that's out there and all the noise.
Yeah, well, that's a hard job, but like
Bill you said, you've been spending your extra time learning video editing. I've been spending my time trying to learn blockchain. I mean,
we all came here because of the price tag of Bitcoin back by then. For me, it was 3 years ago, but now 3 years later, I'm hosting 2 YouTube channels and doing a lot of other things, and I don't even speculate anymore. It's grabbed me. The scene grabbed me, and I felt in love with it, and I tried to do my own thing in it to make it even more greater for us all. But it's it's just one community love, I think, and the true community participants are still here. The rest dried out the last few years. And that's for me the most awesome part about crypto currently.
I think it's the most awesome part of this project too. I mean, we've got guys. Alex from Russia the other day. He was helping us. He was running an RPC node just for caching, and just put his hand up and said, "Hey, I can do development. I can see all these. You got some bugs and tickets and tasks out there. Can I do some of them?" And we're like, "Yeah." Next thing I know, we opened up I opened up my email and I logged into Jira, and he's fixed like 62 of them. I'm like, Jesus Christ! This guy, so we're like, okay, I think we need to bring him into the team. So, this community has just been pretty awesome. And I'm hoping that we can reward them all very soon. It's because it would be a shame not to, because we've put so much effort into it, and everyone's been extremely passionate. So it's just been awesome, and I hope we can all have a bit of a victory lap at some point. But obviously it's never going to stop.
No.
It'll probably just make us work harder.
Yes, I think these are the most beautiful words to close with. Guys, did you said it all what you want to say today to the viewers? No?
Yeah, I think I've said everything I wanted to say. I mean, we're always, as you know, we're always on Telegram and so forth. So we don't disappear after this, right? You go onto the Phantasma Telegram, you go onto the GOATi Discord, like you can find us, right?
All the links are down in the description. Like even Bill's private DM link also down in the description.
Yeah.
Mankini tokens.
Yeah, and I look forward to all the hot women / 50-year-old dudes pinging me about exchange listings that don't exist. Welcome. I enjoy playing with you, so please grace my presence.
It was a great pleasure to have this interview. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for putting it together,
Yeah,
man. It's really cool.